Sorry about the audio in this video. I thought it was going to sound better with the way that I did it. Enjoy. Hello. I'm in my living room. I wanted to do an update video because I haven't really made anything other than podcasts in a while. A big change happened. We're called Auram's Corner now. For those who have been around the sort of comic book YouTube space for a while, you may have heard that name before, Auram's Corner. This man made it up. He's silly. But now it's come to fruition. Reasons why! Basically, my attitude towards this channel for a while now has just been a place to make things, make content that I want, and the sort of Auram's comics part of it, the comics part of it has, in my stupid brain, been a barrier for, like, don't make things about your other interests, because you can't. But, you know, the online podcast season 2 was on there. Insert character, which isn't comic book exclusive, is on there. You know, any other things that I've done in the past that aren't directly related to comic books. And I want to get back to making stuff outside of comics. Now, I know probably 90% of you subscribe to this channel because it was called Auram's Comics and we were making comic book videos. And I still like comic books. That content isn't going anywhere. I want to make it clear that I also have the ability to do other things, which I will get into in a second, and still maintain the comic book stuff. So, that being said, I've got a bunch of stuff I want to talk about, and this is just very off the cuff. We're going to be moving around and showing some stuff in my apartment, so if the audio is not great, that's why. I have a whole setup. I don't know what I'm doing. So first off, I want to say, if you guys have any ideas, if you follow me on Twitter and have seen me tweet about random stuff like, you know, PS4 games or just Pokemon or any interests that I may have that you would like to hear me talk about, let me know that, because if I hear that there's a demand for it, it might get my gears start turning into making a video. I'm not just going to make a video on something that you asked for, like, very specifically. Like, if you say, like, make a video on Fire Emblem such and such game, I'm probably not going to be like, alright, cool, you got it, it'll be out in a week. Be more general, be like, make a video about this, or, make a, and I know a lot of people are like, make this very specific video, and I'm telling you the opposite, just to get my gears turning, because now that it's Auram's Corner, and it's just my corner. Should have filmed this in a corner. I'm sort of just in the middle of the living room. This was a bad idea. I do have some ideas for, like, new series, or just new general videos that I want to make. There's going to be a theme here of, like, sort of not committing to shows, and if they are part of a show being filmed on a specific set, it's very loose, which is the direction I've been heading in my subconscious for a while. Two of which that are very early on right now is I want to do some form of, like, drawing series where I don't know how to draw, so it would just be funny to get some friends, probably like youtube.com/comicdrake or someone like that, to just draw some superheroes or some characters or something and see how that turns out. I also had the idea of some form of cooking thing. I don't know how to cook, but I think that would be fun to maybe relate. I know plenty of people have done this, but like find recipes in comics or other things and do them in real life and eat them and have fun with it. Just want to have fun. So that's the general housekeeping stuff. The channel name is now Auram's Corner instead of Auram's Comics, which will allow me to do new things outside of the shows, but I do still have the handful of shows that I am going to be producing more episodes for, and I'm finally going to give everyone, like, the super exclusive scoop on the stuff that I've had written for months, because I don't have time to make it, which I'll get into in a bit. Getting into a lot of things in a bit. I should just... there's a new show with Issue Set that's been made for months, and I want to show it to you guys, because it's just been sitting here, and I don't even know if I'm going to use it anymore. So I'm going to go over there. Alright, so this is the new show with Issue Set. I worked really hard on it. It, like I said, has been done for quite a while. The inspiration for it was basically I went through my apartment and feverishly got rid of all my Funko Pops. I still have them all. I didn't trash them or anything. They're just in a closet where they belong. Not that anything is wrong with Funko Pop. I redesigned it. I bought a bunch of new stuff for it. There's a new sign that there was a couple months long process to get this sign in. there's like some fake wood paneling in behind the shelves. You know, there's all kinds of stuff that I really like about it. It's just good. Now, the reason I said that I might not actually get to use it, which is why I'm sort of finally showing you guys the redesign of it. I don't even know. I feel like I may have shown it on a Periscope once before, but who cares? Doesn't matter. The reason I'm showing it now and the reason I said that it might not be used is because I have had 2 episodes of the Show With Issues fully written and scripted, one of which for like a year, maybe 2. No, that's not, it can't be 2. Since one of which has been written since Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 came out, and one of which has been written for, not as long, but pretty long. And I'm being vague now. I don't know why. I'm gonna tell you what the videos are about, show you the thumbnails, and explain why I haven't filmed them yet. So, basically, first one is about Star-Lord. I wrote it around the time of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 because it was going to be my tentpole episode of the Show With Issues for then. It has gone through so many thumbnail variations. I wonder if I could find them all, but... So here's the current thumbnail of it. It is called The Strange Case of Peter Quill, or The Strange Case of Star-Lord. Probably Star-Lord, depending on when I get to it. The video, basically what the video is about is, and I'm not going to do it now because I'm on the Show With Issues set, and if I start talking about it too much, this will just become a Show With Issues. We can't have that. I can't film that right now. But basically, the video is about when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and that portrayal of Star-Lord was entered into the mythos. He sort of adopted that in the comics. He wasn't the same character in the comics before. He was more of a hard ass, cracked some jokes very occasionally, but he wasn't the Whedon-esque, snippy or quippy dude that he is in the MCU, which he now is in the comics. So the video is about that, like why that happened, some theories as to why that happened, and who's responsible for it. I don't want to say fault, because honestly I prefer the current version of Star-Lord that we have. But again, that's for the video. So that's the one that's coming out. I don't want to say a date because I have no idea, and we'll get into like time frames in the future of the channel later. But yeah, so Strange Case of Peter Quill. Now, the other video is, and this is the one that I'm iffy on whether or not this one will be filmed on the set, or if it will be filmed in the way that the Star-Lord one will be filmed, which I will get into that in a second. It's called, what's it called? It's called Earth 65, How to Build a Universe. It's a video about Earth 65, which is the home to Spider-Gwen, for those that don't know. And the concept of it is basically a comparison between Earth 65 and the Ultimate Universe, and how Earth 65 does what the Ultimate Universe tried to do so much better. It's been in limbo for a while, mostly just because it's way more scripted than the Star-Lord video is, because the Star-Lord video is only in bullet points right now, which is usually how I start my scripts. But I wanted to try something new with that. Which leads into the way that I'm filming it. Basically, the Star-Lord video has been my testing ground for things for so long now, and it just continues to be that. So the reason why I haven't just filmed the Earth 65 video, edited it, and gotten it up, besides time management and all that and work, is because I want to do some stuff new with the Star-Lord video. And basically what that is I want to lean the Show With Issues more into a fun comedic approach. And still offering, like, actual, ideas, but make it more fun. Make the presentation a little more fun. And something that I wanted to do, was use a green screen again. For fans of the Show With Issues a long time ago, first episodes of the Show With Issues were on a green screen set. I'm not returning to that. I just want to film on a green screen for that video and see if it's funny, and if it is, then I'll do that for the Earth 65 video as well, and any other videos that it might work for, just for jokes, just because it's jokes. So that's one of the changes that the Star-Lord video is gonna bring, and I say changes like it's changes to the whole format. It's just an experiment, the Star-Lord video. So I don't know when it's gonna happen. I'll get to it when I get to it. It was almost filmed. I almost filmed it months ago when I bought my green screen for the video. I bought green screen and new lights and everything for this video, and after some testing, I realized my apartment's not big enough to get the shot that I wanted, and that I wanted to get a full body shot, but my apartment literally isn't big enough to fit the entire green screen in the frame and get my full body in it. So I I would have had to compromise, which at the time I really didn't want to do, and it sort of put a sour mood on like the idea of the video in my head. But we'll get there eventually. I'll figure something out. I probably am gonna have to compromise and just do like waist up or something, which is basically what I always do and is what I did for the Show with Issues way back when. Also, side note, this is not, if I ever use the Show with Issues set, this is not what it's gonna look and sound like. The shot might be similar, but lighting will be way more tuned and the audio will probably be way better. I just wanted to do this quick because of reasons I'll get into later in this video. This video is probably really long at this point. I didn't intend for it to be. We're gonna move on to the next show now. Auram's Forum, the show that everybody likes, including myself. I'm gonna turn the fan off. We did it. Ow, fuck, shit! So Orens Forum at this point is basically the flagship show of the channel. It used to be the Show with Issues, but because everybody likes this show, and I like this show a lot, and it's sort of the show that changed the direction of the channel, even though I didn't really know about it to make it a more casual thing. Yeah, it's very important to me, and I like the set a lot. The reason I'm not sitting is I don't know. I didn't feel like it. I'm standing. We're standing today. I always lock my knees when I film standing up, and that's really bad. Don't do that. So nothing's changing to Auram's Forum. The only reason that I wanted to bring it up is because it is probably the flagship show of the channel now. Not that that really matters. I don't even put show titles in the episodes anymore. I haven't done that for probably over a year now. I have 2 written, and they're not about comic books. One is about how I don't like Mimikyu, and I explain why. It's for reasons, not just because, ew, Mimikyu. I have many reasons, and I'm gonna go into that. If you don't know what Pokemon is or what Mimikyu is, don't worry about it. Just don't watch that video. The other one is about a more positive video, which is another thing that I want to try and do, especially with Orens Forum. Orens Forum is almost always super negative, and I don't want that because I'm not a very negative person. It's a lot, and however shitty this sounds, it's a lot easier to criticize than to compliment, just because you can be more specific about criticisms usually than you are with compliments. Because like criticism, you can be like, oh, well, I didn't like this sucked for this reason, blah, blah, blah. Whereas compliments are just like, I liked it. And you don't have to question that. You never have to defend yourself for liking something, usually. But yeah, I feel like I skipped over the other video. It's about why Johto is my favorite Pokemon generation, and more specifically, the region, yes, but the video more so is about why Johto's Pokemon are the best, why I think that their cast of 100 Pokemon is my favorite, and not even why they're the best. I do draw comparisons to every other region, but it's mostly just gonna be me talking about why I really like Johto for a while, and I think that's fun. So that's what's going on with Orens Forum. 2 are planned right now. There are more. I would say that there are more than works because there always are. Or the way Orens Forum works is I just have an idea and I'm like, that could be an Orens Forum, and then I'll do it. Like these 2 Pokemon videos, they weren't even Orens Forums at the start. They were just things I wanted to talk about. When I was considering changing the name to Orens Corner, I was just like, well, I want to talk about Mimikyu, because I've talked about this with people in real life a lot, and I really like Johto, and I think that could make an interesting video. And I was like, oh, well, I guess they're basically Orens Forums, because they're just me talking. So yeah, they're Orens Forums. It's very trivial. I'm just doing it. I'm just putting it on this set, because it's a nice set. Anyway, we're going to move on to the show with reviews now. Alright, so, the show with reviews. Literally nothing is changing with the show with reviews. It hasn't been a weekly thing for forever. For a while, it's just been whenever I have a comic I want to talk about. Now it's just whenever I have a thing that I want to review. So if I had time, I could probably film like a Spider-Man PS4 review right now, or, I don't know, anything else that comes to my mind. The Batman 50, which was the, like, Batman 50 review slash boxing match I did with DC, was a very good example of, I have notes for this, but I'm not looking at them because I'm an idiot, and that's why I'm stuttering a lot. It was a very good example of how the show with reviews, like, ideally how I want it to be presented, which was literally just, I was reading a comic, wanted to talk about it, wrote some notes really quickly, showered, filmed it, edited it, went up. It was just, like, stream of consciousness, just go, make it. And that's sort of how I want to do it. The last idea I had for the show with reviews of just buying, like, the top seller off of Amazon, which that only happened with Ruby. That's still fun, and I still kind of want to do that. I was supposed to do that with Green Lantern Earth 1, but I don't know. It turned out less interesting than I thought. The first one was really fun because it happened to be Ruby, which is an anime that I don't like, and it turned out to be a manga that was really bad. So that one was fun, but then the second one that I went and I recorded the, like, going to buy it, see what it is, it was Green Lantern Earth 1. That's like, okay, that's just a good DC comic. There's my review, it's good. Like, the idea for it was, the idea for that thing of going on Amazon and picking out the top seller of the week or whatever was to get things that I never would have read, usually, which Ruby was great. That was a fantastic first episode for that, because it was something that I never would have looked at otherwise. But Green Lantern Earth 1, yeah, I would have probably read that or knew about it, or it was just nothing interesting about that. So I might bring that back eventually, not even doing like a top seller thing. If somebody sends me a book, I don't know how you would, because I don't have a P.O. box or anything, but if you find, hey, foreshadowing, if you give me something at the con that I'm going to mention later, maybe I'll review that. We'll see. The show with reviews isn't changing at all. Anyway, we're going to move on to insert character. So, insert character. I film it on my computer right here. The camera goes right there on a thing in the wall that you probably can't see. For those that don't know, I have a podcast called Insert Character that is Comic Story and Patreon Early Access, which, if you're confused as to why it goes on the Comic Story and Patreon, it's because I work for Comic Storian and wanted to make a podcast for the Patreon, because there's like 12 of them over there. There's more like 7, I think, but still, that's a lot of podcasts. Some of them are exclusive, like completely exclusive to the Patreon. A lot of them are early access exclusive, so basically you get them a couple days to a week early. Mine, Insert Character, is a week early, so it's a Sunday release, usually. And I say usually because of scheduling things. It's not going anywhere. Insert Character isn't going anywhere. In fact, it's only makes more sense as an all-inclusive podcast now that we're Auram's Corner instead of Auram's Comics. Yeah, so early access on the Comic Story and Patreon. Basically, premise of the podcast is me and a guest talk about a character that they really love. Could be from anything. So far, we have had, the first episode was the comic historian himself, Benny, talking about Agent Venom. Then I had Houston talking about Power Rangers. And then Joel talking about the Hulk. And then Gary talking about Captain Sisko from Star Trek. So yeah, that's Insert Character. Nothing is changing about it. It's supposed to be weekly, but it's very difficult because of work, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about. We're going to go sit on that couch now. Oh, so I forgot to say this when I was recording this segment, but I meant to mention the podcast that I'm doing with youtube.com/comicdrake, which is back. It's a monthly thing. It's called the Comic Panel Podcast. Check it out. It goes up on his channel every month. It's great. That's the things that are happening to Auram's Corner now. I also just realized on the Insert Character thing, I need to change the logo, because it still says Auram's Comics. I'll do that soon. It's a really easy change. I just changed the comics to Corner. I didn't really talk about why the name change, aside, like, to Corner specifically, aside from, you know, the actual reasons for it, like the programming reasons. The change from comics to Corner was literally just because, like I briefly mentioned earlier, Benny, a long time ago, couldn't remember the name of my channel. He couldn't remember that it was called Auram's Comics. He kept messing it up. And Auram's Corner came out, and then he just kept doing it as a bit, just to get a rise out of me. And it's turns out it's a really good name. I changed the name of the channel to Auram's Corner and changed the direction of the channel at the worst possible time, being like September, because Spider-Man PS4 came out, which means we were working around the clock to get tentpole things ready to go. And I was also, like, personally working around the clock to get everything ready to go before the game came out so I could beat it in the weekend, and which I did. I accomplished that, luckily, so that it wouldn't, like, distract me from work or anything. So that was a lot of work. And then the thing that I hinted at earlier was I don't have time to, like, film anything this week because now I have to work again to prepare for going to Keystone Comic-Con, which is in Philadelphia, which I'll be there. I'm just more excited to see all my coworker friends. So yeah, I'll be at Keystone Comic Con. It's September 14th to 16th at the Pennsylvania Convention Center, which is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If that just sort of checks out. I'll be there just hanging around. I don't really know what we're going to do. Benny sent me like the agenda for him and Gary, which he's going to be on some panels. I know Sal and I think Tiffany from Comic Pop are going to be there. A bunch of the Comic Story and crew are going to be there. So it's just a big time. We're going to have a fun time. So if you're there, come say hi. I hope this made sense. I sort of flipped the script like right before I started filming. The reason I wasn't really looking at my notes is because I had them all written out and everything, basically how I was going to do it. But then I was like, I want to do it by show and section it off by show and then go to each set and film on that set. So I did that instead and sort of ruined everything that I had. But I looked at it just now and I'm pretty sure I hit every bullet point that I wrote down. So yeah, thanks for watching. New stuff soon, trademark. I don't know. I'll probably film the Orens Forums are probably the first things that are going to come out once September is over, basically, because September is sort of jam-packed. But yeah, we'll see. See you guys in the next video, whatever the hell that may be. Insert character also is, like, insert character and Auram's Forum are the two things that take the least amount of effort. Especially insert character. So if you don't like insert character, sorry. Bye.